I never thought I'd end up here, honestly. I thought I had it all figured out, married to Jessica for almost 3 years now, and honestly, I thought we were solid. She's beautiful, ambitious, and for the most part, she seemed crazy about me. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I never imagined I'd be sitting here writing this with my world turned upside down. Looking back now, there were small signs that something was off, but I brushed them aside. She'd suddenly be more secretive with her phone, hiding it whenever I walked into the room. She'd cancel plans last minute, saying she was busy with work, but then I'd see her out with friends or at some event I wasn't invited to. She also gotten really defensive whenever I brought up the fact that she was staying late at the office or that her phone kept buzzing late into the night. I told myself she was just busy, that maybe I was overthinking it. Then, a few weeks ago, I started noticing her texts. Not just the usual work stuff, but a lot of messages from this unknown number, often late at night. She'd quickly lock her phone and I'd catch her nervously deleting conversations. It started feeling like I was chasing shadows, but deep down I knew something was wrong. I just didn't want to believe it. The biggest red flag was when I saw her change her routine. She started taking longer showers, staying out later than usual, and her mood shifted from loving and attentive to distant and bitchy. She'd snap at me for the smallest things, call me insecure, or accuse me of being paranoid. She told me I was imagining things, that she loved me, that she was just working hard and stressed out. I wanted to believe her, but the gut feeling kept gnawing at me. I felt like I was walking around in a fog, waiting for the other shoe to drop. One night I was scrolling through her phone while she was in the shower. I know, I shouldn't have, but I was desperate for answers. That's when I saw the message I'll never forget. It was from that same number, an intimate message, a photo of her lying in bed, her head on some guy's chest. It wasn't just a flirtatious message, it was a damn naked picture of her in bed with him. My stomach dropped. My heart stopped. I stared at that photo for what felt like forever, trying to process what I was seeing. Everything I thought I knew about her crumbled in that moment. That's when it hit me. I had been living a lie. She had been cheating on me for who knows how long, right under my nose. And the worst part, I was about to get married to her in a matter of weeks. I couldn't sleep that night, replaying that image over and over, feeling betrayed, stupid, and furious all at once. I didn't want to believe it, but the proof was right there, staring me in the face. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My mind was a tornado of anger, confusion, and heartbreak. I knew I had to confront her, but I also knew that whatever she said in her defense wouldn't change what I saw. Still, I was desperate to hear her try to spin her way out of it. She was in the kitchen, pretending to be normal, making coffee like nothing had happened. I felt my fists clench. I knew I had to get it over with, so I took a deep breath and asked her outright, "Jessica, who is he? Who's the guy you've been texting all these late nights?" Her face froze for a second, then she gave me that snarky, bitchy smile that I'd come to recognize as her way of dodging. "What are you talking about? You're seeing things. I told you I was busy with work. Maybe you're just imagining things again like you always do." I didn't buy that for a second. I pulled out my phone and showed her the picture. Tell me what this is, because it looks pretty damn real to me." She snatched the phone from my hand, her eyes narrowing. "Oh, that's just a stupid joke. Someone probably sent that to me as a prank. You're overreacting as usual. You're jealous, insecure, and paranoid. I don't have time for this nonsense." I felt my blood boiling. "That's not a joke, Jessica. That's you in bed with some guy. How long has this been going on? How many times?" She rolled her eyes and scoffed. "Look, I don't know. An explanation. Whatever you think you saw, it's nothing, just some stupid picture, and honestly, I don't know who sent it. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe I've been busy, maybe I've been stressed, but it's not what you think." I was losing my patience. The betrayal cut deep, but I kept my voice steady. "Then why the hell were you hiding your phone? Why the secretive behavior?" "Because I saw the messages, Jessica. I know what's going on, and I'm not going to sit here and be lied to anymore." She crossed her arms, her bitchy glare turning into something more defensive. "Fine. If you want the truth, yes, I've been talking to him. So what? It's just sex, and it's not like I'm leaving you for him. I'm just stressed and he's there for me, that's it. I don't see what the big deal is." That's when it all hit me. She was lying again, twisting everything into some kind of justification that made no sense. I could feel the rage bubbling up. I'd been living with her lies, her manipulations, and now I was supposed to accept her just sex excuse. No way. I told her I needed some time to think, that I couldn't just pretend like nothing had happened. She sneered at me, telling me I was overreacting, that I was crazy, and that I was ruining everything. I walked out of the apartment that day, my mind racing. I didn't sleep that night either. All I could think about was that picture, her eyes, her voice, the lies I'd believed for so long. I couldn't believe I was about to marry someone who had been cheating on me right before the wedding. It felt like my entire world was falling apart. I kept asking myself how I didn't see it earlier, how I was so blind to her bullshit. But deep down, I knew I'd been living a lie. And now I had to decide what to do next. The days that followed were a haze. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and honestly, I was barely functioning. Every time I looked at Jessica, I saw the same bitchy smirk, the way she lied so effortlessly, like she thought she was untouchable. I kept replaying that photo, that moment when I realized she had been screwing around behind my back, while pretending to be the perfect wife. The betrayal hit me harder than I thought possible. I knew I had to confront her again, but this time I wanted to be prepared. I spent hours going through her phone, looking for more evidence, more proof of her lies. I found a bunch of texts exchanged with this guy, flirty, provocative messages, and some explicit photos. It was clear they'd been at it for a while. That made it even worse. My mind kept racing through all the times I'd trusted her, all the plans we'd made, the wedding we were about to have. Finally, I decided I couldn't keep this bottled up anymore. I called her at work, told her I needed to talk. When she showed up that evening, she was still wearing that snarky attitude, like she thought she could just brush everything under the rug. I told her I knew everything, about the texts, the photo, the lies. Her face flickered with a flash of panic for a second, then she threw her head back and laughed. "Oh, please," she scoffed. "You really think I'd do something that stupid? You're so paranoid. You're just jealous because I'm still attractive and guys want me. You're losing it, babe. Honestly, I've been so stressed with the wedding planning and work, I don't have time for this drama." I stared at her, furious but trying to stay calm. "Jessica, I saw the photo, I saw the messages. How can you even sit there and deny it?" She rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. "Look, I don't owe you an explanation. It's just sex, and it's not like I'm leaving you. You're acting crazy. Maybe I just needed some excitement, some fun, because you're so boring and controlling. Don't try to make me into the villain here." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. She was trying to make me feel guilty for catching her, for trusting her, even as she lied to my face. I felt my fists clenching again, a mixture of rage and heartbreak. I told her I was done, that I couldn't be with someone who lied so effortlessly, who cheated right before we were supposed to get married. She looked at me with that bitchy smirk, like she thought she'd won. "If you're so perfect, why are you even bothering? You're just insecure. You think you're some kind of victim, but you're not. You're just another guy who couldn't keep his woman happy." That was the moment I realized I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. I told her I'd call off the wedding, that I couldn't go through with it knowing what I knew. Her laugh echoed in my head, cruel, dismissive, like she didn't care at all. I walked out that night feeling hollow, knowing I'd lost someone I thought I loved and trusted. I still didn't know what to do next, but I knew I couldn't stay with her. Not after all that. Not after discovering she'd been living a lie, cheating on me with my supposed best friend. The aftermath hit me harder than I expected. Walking away from her that night, I felt like I was losing a part of myself. Every memory, every plan, every hope we shared, they all felt tainted now. The wedding was 2 weeks away, and honestly, I don't even remember how I managed to get through those days. My head was a mess. Anger, sadness, betrayal. It all mixed into this overwhelming sensation that I was just a fool for trusting her. People kept asking if I was okay, if I needed help, but I didn't know what to say. How do you explain that the woman you were about to marry had been screwing around with your best friend? That she lied to your face for months, played the perfect wife until she thought she'd get caught? The worst part was feeling like I'd been living a lie for so long. I kept questioning everything. Was I really blind or just stupid? How did I not see the signs? How did I not realize she was capable of this? I spent most of my nights staring at the ceiling, trying to piece together how everything fell apart so fast. I reached out to my best friend, Mark, finally confronting him. I knew deep down I needed closure. When I called him, his voice sounded guilty, like he was trying to justify what he did. But I didn't want explanations or excuses. I told him I knew everything, that I never wanted to see him again, that I'd cut him out of my life for good. The betrayal of that friendship cut deep too. I thought I had two people I could trust, Jessica and Mark, and both of them had taken a knife to my back. That day I also realized I was going to have to face Jessica again. I couldn't just pretend I didn't know. So I decided that I needed to confront her one last time in person and really make her see how badly she'd screwed up. I messaged her, told her I was coming over. Her reaction was exactly what I expected. She was bitchy, dismissive, even mocking. When I arrived, she was sitting on the couch, makeup perfect, attitude even more so. I looked her dead in the eyes and told her I knew everything, the photo, the texts, all of it. She rolled her eyes and threw her head back. God, you're so dramatic. You really think I care? I don't need your validation. I don't care what you know or don't know. I'm done with you. I felt a boiling rage. You're done, after cheating on me right before our wedding, after lying to my face every day. You think you're the victim here? She scoffed. Please. I'm the one who's tired of your insecure, controlling bullshit. You're lucky I didn't just leave you already. But I figured I'd give you a chance to see how pathetic you are, still trying to hold on after I cheated. Honestly, I don't even care anymore. That's when I finally snapped. I told her I was done, that I was canceling the wedding and I was leaving her life for good. I didn't want to be with someone who played me like a fool, who lied and cheated and then mocked me for finding out. I walked out that day feeling empty, broken, but also somehow relieved, like I was finally free from her grip. The next few days were a blur. I spent nights packing up my things, getting ready to move out. I didn't want to see her again, didn't want to hear her bitchy voice or her lies anymore. I'd lost my trust, but I gained clarity. I realized I'd been living in a fantasy, fooling myself into thinking she was perfect, that she loved me. But now I saw her for what she really was, a manipulative, selfish woman who only cared about herself. And I knew, deep down, I'd never be able to forgive her. Not for what she did, and not for how she lied right up until the end. After I moved out and cut all contact with Jessica, I honestly thought I'd feel better. I convinced myself that the pain would fade, that I'd come out of this stronger. But the truth is, I felt broken. Every morning I woke up with that sick feeling in my stomach, the kind that doesn't go away easily. I kept replaying everything. The betrayal, the lies, the way she looked at me like I was some fool for trusting her. People kept telling me I was lucky to get out, that I dodged a bullet, but honestly it didn't feel like that. It felt like I'd lost everything I thought I knew. I kept asking myself how I could have been so blind, how I missed all the signs, how I ever thought she was the woman I was going to marry. It was like I'd been living in a nightmare, and I couldn't wake up from it. The worst part was the aftermath, the questions from friends and family, the awkward silence when everyone found out. I didn't want to talk about it at first, but eventually I told a few close friends. They were sympathetic, but I could see the judgment in some of their eyes, like I should have seen it coming. Honestly, I didn't need their pity. I just needed to understand how someone I loved so much could betray me so badly. I started seeing a therapist, trying to sort out my feelings. It helped a little, but it also made me realize how deeply I'd been hurt. Trust is everything in a relationship, and she shattered that like it was nothing. Every time I thought about her, I felt a mix of anger and sadness. Part of me wanted to scream, part of me wanted to cry, and another part just felt numb. One thing I did was shut myself off from dating or meeting new women. Honestly, I wasn't ready. I felt like I needed to be alone and heal first. Every time I thought about Jessica, I'd get mad all over again, at her, at myself, at the whole situation. I kept asking myself if I'd ever trust someone again, if I'd ever be able to love without that fear hanging over me. But as the weeks went by, I started to realize something. I was still alive, still breathing, and I still had a lot to give. I didn't want her to win. She tried to destroy me, but I refused to let her. Every day, I reminded myself that I deserved better. I deserved someone who would love me for who I was, not cheat on me and lie to my face. I don't regret ending it with her, even if part of me still feels stupid for trusting her in the first place. What I learned is that sometimes the worst betrayals come from the people you least expect, and it's up to you to pick yourself up after. I'm not there yet, and I probably won't be for a while, but I know I'll get through this. I have to. The only thing left for me now is to move on, to find someone who values honesty and loyalty as much as I do. And maybe someday I'll be able to forgive her, if only for myself. Looking back now, I realize that this whole experience has changed me in ways I never expected. I used to believe in happily ever after, in the idea that love was enough to make everything work. But that illusion was shattered the moment I saw that photo, the moment I realized Jessica had been living a double life. It's like I woke up from a dream and saw everything clearly for the first time. One thing I've learned is that no matter how much you love someone, trust has to be earned and maintained. You can't just assume everything's fine until it's too late. I also learned that some people are just incapable of being honest. They'll lie, cheat, and manipulate until they get caught or until they decide they don't care anymore. And that's a harsh truth, but it's better to accept it than keep living in denial. I've come to understand that I deserve better than someone who treats me like an afterthought. I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect. Jessica was none of those things. The pain of her betrayal still lingers, but I'm slowly learning to accept it, to let go of the anger that once consumed me. I know I won't forget what she did, but I also refuse to let it define me. Now I focus on rebuilding myself, on healing from the inside out. I've started focusing on my career, reconnecting with friends I'd pushed away and trying to find some peace. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that I'll never let anyone make me feel this way again without consequences. Trust is a fragile thing, and once broken, it's almost impossible to fully repair. But I believe that I can learn from this, grow from it, and eventually find someone who's worthy of my trust and love. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, I want to say, don't ignore the signs. Don't dismiss your gut feelings just because you want everything to be perfect. And if you find yourself betrayed like I was, allow yourself to feel whatever comes: anger, sadness, disappointment. But don't let it consume you. Take your time to heal, lean on your friends, and remember that you are worth more than the pain someone else caused you. In the end, I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned about love, about worth, and about resilience. I'm moving forward one step at a time, knowing that I will find happiness again. Maybe it's with someone new, maybe it's just on my own for now, but I'll never forget what I've been through. It's made me stronger, and I'll carry that strength with me forever.